Hi there.
Hey, Brad, it's Trish Pierce from Cape Cod, Mass.
How are you?
Good, good. Great to meet you online.
Yeah, likewise. This
I'm
should be
excited for
interesting.
this.
This should be really interesting.
It should be. How you holding up with all of this happening?
Oh, we're hanging in there. It's a little
Yeah,
crazy with the kids at home, but
yeah,
we've got good support, so we'll be fine.
yeah. I get it. I get it. Yeah, we have 11 deals, and all of them are hinging right now.
Yeah. We closed out most of ours. We've got two open. We've got buyers writing offers right now.
hmm
Sellers coming on the market fast. So there's
Yeah,
quite a few moving parts right now. So we'll see
yeah,
how they go.
yeah.
We
You
have
know
remote,
it.
we have remote signings. So
Yeah, we
other than
do.
a notary mobile, we're able to close, and the recorder's office are still are open for that. So
Perfect.
what we're gonna do, I'm gonna see how this all works. But I have over 75 people registered for the event.
Awesome.
Um, so we'll have to see. We might have to switch this to a webinar setting on the next one, but we'll see how this goes and do our best to hear everybody and also engage, right?
Right, right.
It might be a little overkill when we get there, but we'll see how everybody pops on here.
Good morning, Brad. Thanks for the invite.
Good morning, Jennifer. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Well,
Hanging in there.
yeah, likewise.
Masterminding like crazy.
Yeah, same here.
Where again's your office?
I'm in San Diego.
Okay. I'm north of Boston, Massachusetts.
Very good.
Jennifer, we should connect afterwards. I'm south of Boston and the Cape.
Are you? Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to message maybe your information.
Sure.
Actually, I can take it down now. Well, it's just you and I.
You and the two of you and 100 of your closest friends, so you might want to hurry.
I know, right?
Jennifer, are you on Facebook?
I am.
Let me find you.
Okay, it's Jennifer Sullivan, eXp Realty.
Okay.
I just changed companies from Keller Williams.
I'll talk about this in the meeting as well, but if you're not on our BNI Facebook group, it's a great place to connect with everybody, and there's a roster in there as well.
Oh, great.
So check it out, look online. There's you can invite yourself, and then I'll approve you in once I verify your association with BNI.
Is the Facebook group, was that noted in the email or?
It wasn't, so it's BNI Real Estate Referral Network. You just search it online.
That's great. How long you been in BNI, Brad?
I've been in it for about 4 years now.
It's awesome.
It's been a huge, huge asset to our business. So it's been pretty incredible.
Yeah, it is. The power of it's amazing. And our virtual meeting this week went fairly well.
They're challenging. They're not as good, and we're hearing back
Not as good.
from Italy and China that they're struggling with them a little bit. Everybody
Yeah.
wants to get back connected. I was talking to my regional director, and they want to get back in front of each other face to face. So
Yeah. It's certainly not the same. However, a lot of us have been in it for quite some time, so we've got some core members, and
yep.
I do think when we all come out of this, we'll be able to grow the chapter even more.
Agreed.
As people are looking to grow their business.
Agreed. Sorry, I'm just working on a couple things as we get prepped here.
No worries. I'll be back. I'm just going to get the kids situated before, what do I have, 10 minutes?
Away from everybody
All
here.
right, I gotta go. I'm on a webinar.
Okay, goodbye.
All right, welcome in everyone. Do me a big favor and mute yourselves as you come in, and we'll get started here in a few minutes.
Hey, Brad, how you doing?
Good, James. How you doing?
Good. Nice to finally meet you.
Yeah, likewise.
Where are you at in San Diego?
North County.
All right, I'm in Monarch Beach, South Orange County.
Very good.
So we'll probably have some business together in the future.
Sounds good.
I went to law school down in San Diego, so I still have a lot of connections down there.
Oh, very good.
When you say North County, we talking about Carlsbad?
Inland, I'm Poway, Carmel Mountain Ranch.
Oh, Poway. All right, cool.
Yeah. I'm going to mute everyone. Sorry, James. We're about to get a flood of people on the call, so I apologize. Welcome everybody. If you're coming on, I've got you muted, so come on in and we'll start in a few minutes. I think I should put in some background music or something so everyone can have a little elevator music. I'll sing, dance. No? Okay. We are going to live stream this into our Facebook group. So those of you coming on, if you don't have a link to our Facebook group or not in it already, I will share that with you in the comments below. Give me just a second. I'm going to do my best to start right on time here. So it's 8:56. We got about 4 minutes here locally, and we'll live stream this into the bigger group. You can join us as we go. I'm planning on doing quite a few of these. So we've got one set up for this morning, another one set up for Monday. So we'll have you kind of join in as you want to with new topics. Obviously, we're all ever changing, right? Every hour, every day, everything's changing in our worlds, and we'll talk about some of those topics. But you know, feel free to join us on all these calls. I plan on just continuing to add new ones throughout the week. Some smaller, some larger. I've got a capacity for about 100. As of this morning, I had, I think, 75 RSVPs to this call this morning, so it might be a big group. And we'll see what we can do to manage our size. My biggest fear here is I'm not a big Zoom user, so please bear with me. I'm learning as we go. I'm pretty tech savvy, but I'm learning. And so with 75 people on the call, it might be a little challenging for me, but we'll do our best to make sure everybody gets heard and that we can engage at a high level pertaining to real estate and BNI. So come on in and we'll get settled here soon. All right, give us just a couple more minutes. He's dropping in on the call right now. All right, well, I don't know that we'll be able to go live on Facebook, but I'm doing my best to push it out to Facebook in our group. For those of you just joining us on the call, if you got an email from me and you are not aware of our Facebook group for BNI Realtors across the country, we started this about 18 months ago. We do live events in person at different conferences. Many of you on the call I've met in person or at least talked to on the phone, some of which, Brandon, nice background, is closing a deal for me hopefully this month. We've met quite a few people through this networking online and otherwise. If you're not a part of that Facebook group, in the comments in the chat on the side, we've actually put a Facebook group there that you can invite yourself, fill out a few questions, and we'll approve you into the group. As we got started here, I just wanted to let everyone know I'm very new to large Zoom conferences, so please bear with me. I want everybody to be able to engage and have a conversation. However, we have over 75 people registered for this call. So we're going to try and use the chat box as much as possible. If you have something to comment on or communicate, you can unmute yourself to engage or put it in the chat box on the side. And we'll do our best to read those comments and get to everyone as we go through this. All right, so we'll start out with talking about BNI. One thing that we all know is happening right now, we're moving over to an online platform. And I know some of you have already had your first meetings through the BNI online system. We had our first meeting. It was not on BNI online. I went ahead and just launched a Zoom meeting. But I wanted to hear some feedback from different people on how their first meeting went. Is there anybody out there that had a successful first meeting? Kat, you want to share with us?
Yeah, we had a really good first meeting. It was a little touch and go at the beginning because we were still figuring it out. And the platform kicked us off a couple of times, so we had to all get back on. But basically, we just ran it like a regular meeting. And we had some chat rooms that we did one-to-ones in afterwards. So it was a success. Okay. I do miss that personal one-on-one personal interaction, though.
We're feeling that too. So the one-on-one interaction, we're doubling that up and doing as many Zoom meetings one-to-one as we can, or in small groups with our power teams. Kat, Maya, do you have something to say as well?
Yeah, I do. This is actually our Friday's my meeting day, and this is our second meeting via Zoom. I'm an area director in the Boston area, so I've been privy to seeing a lot of the training behind this, and the training that they have on BNI Online is excellent. And it's going well. The one thing that I would say is I've been on a lot of these Zoom calls recently, and it becomes more personal if everybody has their video on. So, you know, that's, I think, one of the most important things is to have the video on, because it feels a little bit more personal talking and being able to see people's face in the gallery view. And it makes you feel like you're kind of there.
I think we're all thriving for that connection, right? And so the more personal you can make it, even though this is fairly impersonal, the better off we're going to be. So I 100% agree with you. Anybody else have a success in their meeting this week? Trish?
Sorry, unmute myself. Hi. Yeah, we actually just had our first online meeting yesterday morning. I'm the president of our group. I've only been in BNI for a little over a year, so it was kind of interesting transitioning to doing everything online, but we have 35 members in our group, so I just reached out to everybody a couple days beforehand, made sure that they were getting the emails from corporate so they knew that we were transitioning to online, encouraged everybody to log into the Zoom meeting about 30 minutes before the regular start time, so we could sort through any technical issues. We only had 1 or 2 people that were having problems with like video. We got that sorted out. So, and we had good participation. Out of 35 members, we had 30 online yesterday for the first online meeting. So it was really good. Like you said, it's kind of harder to have that personal one-on-one feeling when you're staring through a camera or a computer screen. But I think it went really well considering it was our first time doing it.
Trish, I'll add, I think that's a great concept, and making sure that everyone gets integrated soon and having that little bit of fail time in the beginning for people who don't often use this. We called everyone on the roster multiple times. So we broke out our roster, all of our leadership and membership committee. We called every single person and made sure they got on, and then called afterwards for those that didn't make the meeting, just to make sure that they were okay, that everything's all right, and making sure that they get on for the next meeting. We were supposed to cancel our BNI meeting this week, and we elected to follow through with it. And we had 32 out of 37 members attend. So People
Can I
want
also
that.
mention something? Can I
Yeah,
mention
go ahead.
something really quick? What we're seeing up here is that when you invite, it's easier to invite visitors to the Zoom call, and then they can get it. I mean, I think that we, in this past week, we've picked up 2 or 3 applications in this area.
That's great. Yeah, we heard from another chapter earlier in the week that they had 7 visitors on a call. It's a little bit easier to get on. So that's a great thing. Jennifer Sullivan, do you have something that you want to add?
Yep, sorry about that. Just had to figure out getting used to it as well. So I'm north of Boston. I've been in BNI for 14 years, and it's a huge component of my real estate business. One of the things that I thought went really well for our Zoom call was usually we start at 7 a.m. We gave everybody till 7:15 just to work out the kinks. By 7:15, we had all our members participating, and our president, who was the moderator for the meeting, he had an online slideshow, which might have been from BNI Corporate, but it kept everything on track. We stuck to the same agenda that we always keep to, and you know, we did it in alphabetical order, so you could anticipate when you were on deck. And he asked that when you were on deck to speak for your 60 seconds, that you just unmute at that point, so you're ready to go. And it was a very successful meeting. I felt so much better, and Wednesday was probably my most productive day of the week this week. I was in just better spirits after, and I think, you know, the one-to-ones will continue because everyone's looking just for that connection, as you mentioned, Brad.
Any sense of normalcy, right? We're all searching for something that is regular, normal, that we can rely on, and I think everyone else is too. It's interesting. I put this out in this group, and the number of people that raised their hand that wanted to connect and mastermind around it is pretty amazing. And I think our members want that too. I have a pretty solid question, and this came up in our group just recently. What's the number, the top 3 or 4 professions that are in your BNI group, or maybe outside as well, that are going to be impacted by this? Who are you watching closely that are going to have really rough times in your BNI group coming up in the next 30, 60, 90 days? We've already had some of those members call us to sell their houses, that they know that, you know, the next payment's going to be a tough one to make. And so have you guys tracked that or had an understanding as to who is going to have a really big issue moving forward?
Well, Brad,
brick and mortar locations, restaurants particularly.
So restaurants, obviously, we've got a lot of those shut down, and even with their drive-by or drive-up services, they're still not going to be able to make it because of their margins. What about in your chapters? Anybody else?
we are dealing with our movers really struggling right now because things are on ice, but our professional photographer, everything is shut down in Maryland. So you're not doing any of these events. All the weddings are on hiatus for the time being, bar mitzvahs, all his corporate engagements. He's lost every engagement he had scheduled for the coming month. So that and our trainer, because the gyms are now closed.
Yeah, that was actually along the vein that I was talking about, our wedding DJ, as well as our wedding coordinator. They're both looking at, what's next. And does anybody have any solutions that they're offering to their members as to what's coming up? I know it's ever evolving and what's going to show. Do you have any solutions that you've been offering?
I think encouraging people to learn how to use Zoom, because if you can't go, you got to be able to communicate, and this is pretty close to the next best thing.
Right.
Do we have any Tom Ferry peeps on here?
No.
All right, I know. Yes, what? Angela, I know. I see you there. I don't know if you were on the call yesterday with Tom yesterday or not, but in the call this morning, I told all of our memberships, listen, as Tom said yesterday in the call, this is the time many of our people, and including ourselves, will either make it or break in this business. As in for a lot of our members, this is a chance where they really have a chance to grow and show that they can prosper. So what I told them is I expect them to start reaching out to all their past clients. I don't care what industry, if you're in, if you're a realtor, if you're in photography, people who are in the gym fitness business, accounting, whatever. This is the time for us to reach out to them and show them that you care and that you are there for them. What Tom said to us yesterday was, you call them. They're naturally going to ask you what's going on in real estate. We all know that. But Tom's response was, your script should be to them would be that we do have buyers and sellers who are both taking a step back, and we support that. But we still have other clients, both buyers and sellers, who need to move on with their transactions. That said, what can I do for you? It's not a time to go and ask for more business right now. It's a time for us to show them that we are here and that we can care for them, especially if they're elderly and they can't get out of the house. What can I do for you? And a lot of these people are going to be in a spot right now where they can't make their mortgage payments. If they're closed up and they're not getting an income, how are they going to make the mortgage payments? And I haven't heard anything from the banks yet. I don't know if anyone else here has, but are they willing to do deferments on these payments for 60 or 90 days? That's what I'm waiting to hear from the banks. I don't know if you guys are hearing anything about that.
I can offer a little something on that. So Bank of America announced that they are going to entertain deferral of payment upcoming. They haven't defined any length of time for mortgage deferral, but I expect that we're going to see something out of New York. I know if anybody in the room is in New York, I know the governor is really looking at how can they get a 90-day furlough and deferment of payments on mortgages. The other thing that we are offering to our small business owners, especially in BNI, is California has SBA loans that are coming out that are no to zero cost. So you can get some bridge loans to get through the time. But I expect we'll see a lot of different things coming out in the next 30 days. Because the moment April 1st hits, April 5th hits, and all the late payments on rent, the late payments on mortgage are going to show up. And the government statewide and federally is going to be looking for some solutions and backstops to help us out. If you have SBA loans in your area, it's a great conversation starter that we've had. So the Small Business Association or administration has been able to provide different loans, especially for our medium-sized businesses, and they're starting to fund them right away. They were enacted about 6 days ago in California. So it's something to share with your other business owners. I can share the one for California, but look into that a little bit as well. How else can we help other members? I know I'm seeing here house cleaners, personal services events, brick and mortar stores. What else can we offer to our people to support them? Brooke?
One of the things that, good morning everybody, that we can do that I'm personally trying to do and see if other people can, if we're in a position, is to pre-purchase some gift cards. So I got a facial, I got a massage, you know, we can prepay for our next hair appointment, whenever that may be, but just, you know, pre-purchasing services if we can, you know, if you can still afford to pay for your gym membership, even though you're maybe doing it via Zoom versus canceling on them. And then just a call to check in, just so that's mine.
Excellent.
Brad?
Yeah.
Yes, Anna Biegelman, Exit Realty Premier, Long Island, New York. Took 2 new listings this week in desirable areas at good prices in a very tight market where, you know, homes are scarce here, but no showings. So never seen that before. Just wanted to go around the call and maybe see brand new listings. Are you guys getting showings? I also checked with my front desk. They said there's basically no calls to
Brad,
show.
Real quick, Anna, and for those of you
Yes.
who are in New York, I just got a
Yes.
message from a New York client that they have just closed 100% of the workforce in the state.
Yeah.
Which means you guys are following Pennsylvania, and you're not going to be seeing showings, I have a feeling.
Gotcha.
That's right. I know Pennsylvania went through it. We scrambled to go put 3D Matterport virtual tours on all of our listings so that people could see the insides if they wanted to. I suspect that's probably not going to prop us up for long, and that people are going to have a hard time making decisions on purchases that way.
Hey, Brad, Mike out in Denver. I did the same thing with the Matterport on one of my listings, and it has been a really good amount of feedback from people on Facebook saying that they really enjoy seeing the Matterport.
Good idea. For states that aren't completely locked down yet.
Yeah, and I guess no inspections. Is anyone having inspections?
Hey guys, Christy here in Savannah, Georgia. I had a home inspection yesterday. Everybody kept their distance. There were masks, there were gloves. And I've been doing video walkthroughs of my showings and boosting those on Facebook. I got about 600 views yesterday just from going to one of my high-end listings and letting everybody out there see it.
Doing the work, the heavy lifting yourself and getting out there and showing people the insides and figuring out new ways to promote the listings.
So the big question then is, I think it was asked on Facebook, but I'll just repeat it. I have people that are listing soon. Should we still take those listings? They're asking if they should wait. How does everyone feel about that? These are motivated sellers that need to sell.
Take the listings. Take the listings, take the listings. Take as many as you can.
Take them anyway, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, going in, one of my comments here was going to be in scripting, right? And how are we currently scripting our conversations with Sphere, those hot sellers, and what are you doing? You know, one of the things, and I know, Craig, you mentioned, you know, your scripts and what Tom Ferry put out there. We're taking a much less direct approach. So we're just doubling down on contacts, but not making it real estate related at all until they bring it up. And the inevitable is they're going to bring up real estate and what we feel about the market. And we're supporting that with hyper local data. So really looking at the number of listings coming online, the number of actual pendings. We're still seeing multiple offers on almost everything. So we haven't slowed down. I mean, we've slowed down, but we haven't slowed down. So it is really fast. I don't know what the announcements for California are going to do to our market as of today. But as of right now, we're still showing and writing offers and negotiating. I wouldn't slow down. I'd actually speed up. And even if those listings hold over for 30 or 60 days, you'll be in a much better position for later.
So Brad, I'm here in Southwest Florida, and we're seeing a lot of cancellations on our seasonal rentals, especially we have a large Canadian population with them having to go home due to possible border closings and their insurances running out. But I have not yet seen an effect on our actual sales. The good news with this virus, it doesn't seem to like heat and humidity, which we have plenty of. So I'm hoping that will not affect our market tremendously, but we won't know obviously for a couple months. I personally have 4 closings coming up in the next 2 weeks. So, so far on track, nobody's canceling, nobody's freaking out. They have not closed our state. However, they have closed businesses. Restaurants are still open minimally. There are still things happening here, but we have a little bit different market and not as high a population as like you in California and other big cities. So far we're doing okay. I just hope it continues on that path.
Great. Trish?
Hi guys, Trish from South Shore, Massachusetts and the Cape and the Islands. I live in the Cape and I work on South Shore, so I do both. Just want to let you know, one of the things that I did is I have several buyers that have to buy as soon as possible. So one of the things I did is I listed out their needs and wrote, you know, 6 of my buyers, if you look at my Facebook page, it says, these are my clients' needs. This is not a ploy. This is truly what they're looking for. And I shared it with social media. I shared it with my Facebook pages. I shared it with the South Shore Sneak Peek. I shared all around. So I wanted everybody to be aware of it. And that has actually, I did get one under agreement just by doing that with some people that are afraid to list right away. But I was able to get something to go together. So if you have buyers that are looking to buy and maybe a seller that doesn't want to sell, use your realtor friends at this time.
Great. I love the I have a buyer concept. Looking for off market too. I mean, there's probably people that are interested in selling but don't want to deal with people through their home. There's lots of different things that you can utilize with that. Danielle?
Hi guys, I'm Danielle Tringali. I love there's so many New England people on here. I'm from New Hampshire, and you know, I feel like as long as we don't get shut down, there's so many things that we can do. I've been on a lot of Zoom calls nationally and with my team and stuff like that, and I feel like we can continue to pivot and be really creative. I have 5 listings that are coming out in the next month, and these people are not deterred. We're still go, go, go. And I guess I'm just, and strong buyers too, but I guess I'm just concerned, like, what are you guys hearing? Because in the call I was in this morning, that was a national like shift call. I heard that Illinois was getting shut down and some other states. And I guess my only concern is, do you guys all think that we'll eventually get shut down? Because it feels like it's coming this way. And when you hear it on one part of the country, then it'll eventually come to us. So I guess, you know, we're all working so hard. And I think as long as we have access to some of our tools, and I can still go out and do showings. And, you know, I've got like a photo shoot next Wednesday, and I'm like, oh dear God, am I going to get, you know, and they want to go, but are we going to get shut down as a state before then? And then I really can't get that listing out because I can't leave my house. Like, what do you guys think about that? Do you think that we're ultimately, as a country, going to have to kind of be on lockdown for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then that's kind of what it is?
Fill your pipeline. It might not be, hi everybody, Carolyn from Sarasota, Florida here. We've taken 4 listings this past week, and I've kind of scheduled them out more to 3-4 weeks versus our 2-week listing timeline. Hoping that over the next handful of weeks, this will all dissipate and we can get back in action, because here in Florida, our beaches are getting shut down tomorrow. The next is you're not getting out of the house. So we're expecting that. So, you know, and our sellers are, so we're holding on, you know, for a month out. So we have to keep working and putting this stuff in the pipeline so that when it comes back around, we're ready to rock versus sitting here like ducks and not having anything going on.
You're right. What we do today affects coming up in the next 90 to 120 days. It's just like our basic real estate training that we started with. You know, I'm in Fort Myers, Cape Coral. We have a very active market. Our beaches were shut down as well yesterday. So our tourism is our industry. That obviously is going to be affected, but we still have those group of people that buy and sell. And it's just about, you know, I've been doing this 16 years. Go back to basics. Fill your pipeline. What we do today, we're going to see results in 90 to 120 days, even sooner. But get everybody geared up for when we do make that shift. Even if we shut down for the next 2 weeks, which part of me kind of wishes we would just shut down for 2 weeks and then call it a day and get back to normal. But it's a good opportunity for us to do all the things that we never have time to do. Clean up our offices, fill your pipeline, make those phone calls, you know, make a new website, whatever it is you need to do. It's a good opportunity to get back to basics, just like you're a brand new realtor.
I'd like to say one more thing too. What we've been working on here is knowing your market right now. In this time, you know, buyers and sellers really want to know things are selling, what's going on, are we selling? So know your numbers. You know, in the last 7 days here, we've had 377 properties go pending. And that is how I got a listing yesterday, because they're going, whoa, okay, it is still happening. So we have to take the fear out of it and just be the expert for when this comes back, you know, or for now, whatever is happening in your area. It's important people want to know those things. So that's been really helpful for all of us here.
A thing that we're going to be doing here in our office is we are coming up with like a list, kind of like a spring cleaning list, but we're calling it the isolation to-do list. And it's things that people can work on. Maybe it's decluttering their kitchen or cleaning out their closets or whatever. And it's all things that are going to prep them to be able to list their house when this is over. And I'm at the same time referring BNI members out to these people. Like, okay, yeah, you need to have your cabinets redone. Now's a great time to do it.
I like that concept. I think it's getting people prepped for, maybe it's not tomorrow, but having a conversation, supplementing with something other than just how you doing, with, oh, here's some options for you in preparation for what's next. So I've muted you all again just because we're getting some background chatter, but feel free to keep going and chime in. I'd love to hear more scripting. So what are we doing in scripting with our calls? I mean, we're doubling down on how many people in our database we call. We're hearing from our coach that people are circle prospecting and dialing to others and getting people. Now, it might not be a hard sales conversation, but they're getting people and actively engaging with people because people are home and they're bored. So I think it's a great opportunity just to talk to people. What other scripts are you guys using to connect with your databases, and what kind of calls are you making? That exciting, huh?
Yeah, we're just making hi, how are you calls. Is there anything that we can do for you? We're just coming from contribution at this point, no hard sales. If it is a listing or a buyer, again, the data points, that's been really helpful for scripts. And the fact that for your listings, price reduction scripts, of course, we're going to need some of those. And then don't be too scared, because the buyers that are actually here and buying are really serious. If they're buying at a time like this right now, they are wanting to buy, and they will. So that we use that.
Right.
And we found a lot of buyers that are taking advantage of the lower interest rates. It kind of started 2 weeks ago. I know things have gone up a little bit, but I've had a couple buyers call me this week and say, hey, what are you predicting? What are your lenders predicting? Do you think I should lock in now? And I'm encouraging them to go ahead and get a 90-day lock. And that's getting them at least in a pipeline for the next 3 months. So they're going to do something.
That's great. And Lindsay Kent Mack, you mentioned on the chat that just bringing something by, helping people that are in our community that might be shut down or locked into their homes. I'd add seniors and people with children who are getting stuck, not being able to go to the grocery store where it's safe. I mean, I think every area is a little different. We've been decently stocked, but I know my grandmother is at home and she's not going to Costco at 8 o'clock in the morning to try and get toilet paper. So is there anything that we can do to support others and bring things to them? I'm doing my best to stay away from people, stay in my car, but I'm still out and about in the community and doing things. I could easily help by transitioning, things to a senior or somebody with kids. So I think that's a great idea.
Hey, Brad, can I jump in for a minute?
Yeah, go ahead, James.
Yeah, so I do a lot of Tom Ferry stuff, but I also am more of a Brian Buffini guy. And so I'm sending notes. I don't know if you can see that or not, I guess not. So it's thinking of you, your family and friends during this unusual time we're all experiencing. Stay well and don't hesitate to call if you need anything. And then I'm following up with phone calls and things of that nature, but also depending on their business and relating back to BNI, since we're doing a lot of visitors days and stacks days and everything else, it's a great way for them to have an opportunity to ramp up and build their business back if they're having issues, by having Zoom meetings like this, and also connecting them with other BNI members who need their services anyhow, and you can build power partners, etc., through that line.
I think it's a great idea. That's an easy way to invite people and add value to their business, not just their home, but talking the business conversation, not just about what can we bring to their house, but how can we find you new business right now in a new way? And a lot of people that are isolated in business might not even know that it's an option. So I think that's a great concept.
I had one more. Our florist is still delivering right now, who's in our BNI chapter. So ordering some flowers for your top clients or referral sources or people in your chapter who you think really might, it might brighten their day. She's just taking orders over the phone, dropping it on the porch, calling, saying there's flowers there, and driving away. So there's no real contact. So
that's awesome. Now I just need to find a florist for my BNI chapter.
Can I ask a question? Are you all doing Visitors Day or New Member Day? I just got an email that we are still doing it, but virtually.
We decided to delay ours till May.
To try it in person.
Yeah.
BNI Core are working on putting it virtual. I got an email that says virtual BNI.
That's what I just saw too.
What we've heard in training is, obviously the face-to-face and showing them how BNI works is going to be delayed. But there's a new way in breakout sessions within Zoom and on BNI Online that will actually be able to take those members that witness the meeting into a separate chat room and have conversations about how it will benefit their business and do the typical scripts and how this will help them grow. So I think there's a hybrid here that you can do both. You might postpone your in-person, but there's no reason to continue on with, no reason not to continue on with visitors days and things that are actually in the Zoom meetings. Robert?
Yes, Robert Sherwood, KW Commercial, Round Rock, Texas. For those breakout rooms, has anybody had any success with that? We experimented on Wednesday with a closed meeting, and we could not get the breakout rooms to function properly. We assigned people those rooms, but they were still in the same main room.
We used.
I think that anything that is new, like Zoom for us, for most of us, I think this is the wave of new business opportunities. I think it's also a wave. My kids are out of school for the next 5 weeks, and they're doing all online classes and stuff. I think that's going to change some. That might save me $300,000 or $400,000 in college tuition down the road here. And I think if you embrace this change, I mean, it's not going to replace face-to-face and meeting people, but at the moment, it gives you some source of normality that you can actually talk to people still, even though you're not in their presence. So I think everybody should embrace this as much as possible. Whenever they change the playing field, that's our opportunity for opportunities. So look at it in that light, and I think a lot of that will be very opportunist for us.
So Robert, I've got a direct answer to your question in the chat that just basically says that they have to click out of the room into the other room. So we have to train our visitors or our breakout sessions. I have the ability to break this session out into different groups. And I think you just have to opt in to go into that new room in order to make the transition over. So it might just be a little technology learning to get it done the right way. But I know it does have the function in Zoom and BNI Online.
Okay, thank you. I'll inform our president.
Perfect. So, here's what I'd encourage everyone. We're all, many of us are going into these, masterminding with other agents, figuring out what to do. Utilize this technology to connect with your BNI members and double down on it, because I think it becomes less personal when we are in a Zoom meeting, and the more you can do small groups, one-to-ones, things with other members. I mean, I'm talking to my preferred partners daily, right? So my lender, my property manager that's in my group, all the key people that I've done tons of business with in the last 12 months, we are literally on the phone daily with them in Zoom calls, talking about their scripting and their emails, how they're supplementing their conversations with their clients. The property manager is a huge resource for us right now because they're putting out all sorts of content out to their database, owner side and tenant side. So they have a really great perspective on what's happening and what's ever evolving. So make sure you reach out to your property managers right now and solidify that connection. One other thing that we're doubling down on is any member in the BNI chapter or auxiliary person that's in our database that has a business that operates no matter what. Estate planning right now for us is something that we're going all in on and really connecting with different estate planners. Their business is going through the roof. They're like hardly can take a phone call with me because of how many estate plans they're getting signed. They're doing mobile notaries to get them done. They're doing Zoom conferences to make them happen. If nothing got people off the fence before to finish their estate plan, they are ramping up right now. So that means, number one, those that are hoping to avoid potential issues if something happens to them, but it's also they're getting a lot of phone calls from people that are concerned that if something happens to a parent, that something goes wrong, that they're ready for it. So I know I'm not chasing ambulances here, but I'm just being real. It's a industry that's going to have short-term effects, but it's also going to be a long-term play for us to be closer and closer to our estate planning attorney and attorneys that are out there in the industry. So just an idea for everyone.
Judy Trimble here in Boise, Idaho. One of the things that we've been doing is reaching out to other BNI members in other states and real estate agents and solidifying our relationships with them also for referrals across state lines and everything. We do a ton of business with our referral network in other states. So doing the Zoom meetings is really kind of fun with other agents and just having a cup of coffee, or I have some agents, we're going to do a virtual happy hour. So things like that really gets people, especially people in lockdown states, a little more involved. So I've been reaching out to those people.
Judy, you just mentioned something that we talked about this morning in our meeting, and that is we are setting up a virtual happy hour through Zoom next week for our group to keep that bond going. So everybody grab a beer at the store, whatever the case may be, or wine, whatever it is, and get that connection that you guys are otherwise doing.
I love that because it also gives you the perspective of engaging with people outside the structured meeting that we're all accustomed to. So the virtual happy hour is great.
How does that work, guys, though? I mean, I'm right now we have to unmute, mute, each take a turn in talking. How does it work if you have a virtual happy hour? Just curious.
Right, so this is Eric Workman in Nashville. We did a happy hour yesterday, and what we did was we had 2 topics. And what we did was we just allowed everybody to come on board. You've got your chat window over to the side, and we had 2 topics that everybody got to talk about. And we just tried to make sure that we stayed on topic. And then once we got to the end of our hour, we opened it up for Q&A. It worked really, really well. We were kind of surprised at how well it worked. It was great.
What were the topics you used?
So for us right now, this was a young professionals organization. We talked about budgeting through the shift. As the market changes, as things in our world change, what are we doing as far as cutting expenses? What is unnecessary? What are we doing as far as our personal life and our business life that we could possibly cut right now that's not going to affect our business or our regular lifestyle? And we found that there was a lot of people that had multiple Netflix accounts or multiple gym memberships they forgot about or whatever it was. And we started cutting those expenses. What CRMs are you paying for that you forgot you had multiples of? So going through that, and then also we discussed how we were using Zoom calls and Google Hangouts as virtual buyer consults and listing presentations, and how to best use that, because there's a chance this could be done in 2 weeks. There's a chance this could take 2 to 3 months. So we just kind of have to lean into it and make sure that what we're doing is staying with the times. So we kind of mastermind around that and just had people ping ponging ideas back and forth.
And yeah, we did a Wine Wednesday. I'm up in Sonoma County, Northern California, right in the wine country, and our executive directors do a Wine Wednesday. And we kept it really super light. I was putting on funny hats. Ivan and Beth actually chimed in. I should try to share the screenshot I took. I got them in funny hats. But it really was just to keep it light, but we kept it all unmuted, and we laughed and just chatted like we were together. So I like the business one, but we also kept it super, super light. Does anyone know how to have me share my screenshot if you guys want to see it anyway?
Well, what I'll have you do is why don't you send it to me, Brooke, and
Perfect.
I've got it set up so that others can't share their screens. So just go ahead and send it to me and I can share that with the group. How many people, Brooke, real quick, how many people did you have in that? You're muted again. How many people?
Sorry, I lost you guys. I'm trying to figure out how to do all this. I think at one point we had about 9, so it was pretty small on that one. I'm guessing it will get bigger as they choose to have them each week. But that one was a pretty small one. But I'll send you the shot if I can right here.
Eric, what about you?
Yeah, so we had 17 people on that call. Several people called in via phones, and then the rest of us were on the Zoom. And this is going to be something that we have to we're going to have to learn through this, right? Like most of us have probably not done buyer consults or listing presentations over this, and the sharing the screen thing and the muting people. So what we're doing with that is we're practicing on our team of holding these presentations so that we can practice with each other. Hey, let me share my screen so you guys can see what I'm talking about, just so that when you do get in front of a client, when this inevitably happens, we're prepared and we know what we're doing. But for the happy hour, I think we had 17 people. We did have the host. We had 2 of us as the hosts, and we would mute during the discussion, and then we would open it back up for everybody else to chime in.
I think that's great. And, you know, something that was in the works for me prior to all this was an estate planning conversation to share with a group. And I've been thinking over the last 24, 48 hours about doing a live session on Zoom with my clients and bringing them into a room and having a real estate conversation around it. Anyone done that yet or planning to do so?
I haven't personally. I have people in my office who are hosting story times for kids and yoga sessions and things like that, and inviting their clients for them to share to people they know as well. And just, again, it's just for the future, you know, get your, keep your name out there kind of, and come from contribution.
Well, we can all agree that Zoom is doing a great business right now.
I tried to buy stock in it, you know, about a week ago, and my advisor said it's already been up for 2 months because of this. So they're going to do okay, I think. What other needs do we have? What else do we need to talk about on a call like this that we can support all of you? Number one, as I've seen in the comments, everybody loves it so far, and we'd like to continue doing things like this. And I intend to continue on with this in large and small format. So you can check that box. There is another meeting that will be just like this on Monday at 1 o'clock Pacific. So if you want to put that on your calendar, there's also an additional link that was in the email that was sent out, as well as in our Facebook group. Feel free to sign up for that one as well. We'll probably drive it into different directions as well with topics. So we have a little bit of variety. And then for those of you that got on the call a little bit later, we also have a Facebook group. So if you're not in the Facebook group yet, it's a great way to send referrals, connect with other people that are in here, and find contact information if you want to connect with others. So that is in the chat. If you scroll up in the chat at the top, there's a link to the Facebook group. I'm not sending you all the way right now, but I just want to remind everybody in this that Facebook group is there for you know, questions. One thing I ask is keep it BNI related. Don't promote yourself. If you promote yourself, we will have you exit and we won't invite you back. So just make sure that you're not doing any self-promotion, that you're connecting with others, sending outbound referrals, and asking things BNI and real estate related, okay?
I'm curious, how did you get everybody's email for BNI? Or...
I'm a ninja.
You're a ninja.
No, this has been in the works for years. So I've been doing this. I've actually been connecting with Keller Williams agents and other agents in different markets. We just had a get together in Dallas when we were there for family reunion Keller Williams. We actually had several people from other brokerages come join us. We've had people fly in from Utah and other states to join our events. So it's just something I've been working on, building my network strong in key locations. I can see, you know, on the screen, probably 50% of the people here I've either met in person or had detailed conversations with over the phone. And some of them I've sent business to, or they've sent me business, et cetera. So this has been a work in progress for us for years. And this is a great opportunity for us to connect online now. So does that answer your question without answering your question?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Can we go around, and maybe if you have maybe somebody that's moving to another state that somebody in this group could help, or maybe if you have a listing, we can share.
So in that, my preference would be not to share listings, if that's okay with everyone. My goal here is to pass outbound referrals. So if you have something in mind that you're trying to connect a referral right now, I'm more than happy to open it up. If somebody has something that they'd like to place. If they're not in this room right now, the chances are I know someone in that market. So if you have any referrals you'd like to send outbound, I'm more than open to connecting those today.
I have somebody that's looking in Wilmington, Delaware.
Okay.
Does anybody service Wilmington?
I think Sam or Najee does. I'll have to double check that he services Wilmington, but he's a BNI member that we met in Dallas. So I'll make that connection for you, Kat. I wrote it down.
I'm Pat Gold. Sorry.
Hi, Natsuko.
Hey, I am looking for actually agent in Fairfield County in Connecticut. Fairfield County?
Fairfield?
Yeah. Like an hour from New York City?
Okay. Anyone in here?
Guess not. Okay. Thanks.
There's only 75 of us or so in here right now, so let me find out. Let me see if there's anybody I have on my map that I can connect you with.
Okay, thanks.
I'm Pat Goldstein with Crowlike Realtors in the Memphis area. I've got a client, if she will let me list her house, let people come in to see it, she'll be moving to Minneapolis area, if anybody's there.
All
There's
right.
nobody in Minneapolis.
I have several people there. So if they're not on the call, again, I'll make that connection, or if anybody else knows of a connection, connect with Pat, and we'll
Thank you.
We'll make sure we take care of you.
Hi, this is Dale Warfel in Silicon Valley. We are looking for a contact in Santa Fe, New Mexico. We're planning moving out there. Anyone?
I got you covered too, Dale.
Awesome.
Don't worry. We closed one last year with someone in Santa Fe. We'll get you connected.
So I'm in Savannah, Georgia. I'm always looking to meet agents up in the New York City area. We have a lot of people who retire from New York to Savannah. And if y'all know anybody that likes vacation rentals, maybe wants to own a couple here in Savannah, I do have a 6-unit short-term vacation rental here for sale.
Christy, Anna Biegelman here, Long Island and Queens, New York. Servicing this area since 2001. If you want to connect offline later, maybe we'll speak about some referral opportunities, because people leave New York all the time, and you know we have a lot of baby boomers, so we have that dynamic. So perhaps we can do something here.
Y'all love to come down here to our heat, so I'll be happy to take them.
Yeah.
Hey, let's go here. Oh, sorry. I cover Brooklyn, Queens, Manhattan area. I have probably tons of referrals, and I invest all over US as well. So I got always somebody. Okay, so connect with me later, okay?
Natsuko, if you have any people wanting to move to Long Island, get more for their money, let's connect.
Sure. Yeah, I have actually a lot of people who move to Long Island and Westchester from New York when they have a baby.
Yeah, and I have luxury homes as well. You know, if you have cash buyers, luxury buyers. Thank you.
All right.
Okay, thanks.
So let's stay focused on outbound referrals. If you have an outbound referral to place, you know, obviously everyone can make relationships within here, connect online. Anyone else have an outbound referral? Okay. So we're 50 minutes in. This is awesome. I love this conversation. Are there any other topics separately that might be that you're interested in that are BNI related that we can discuss and go into more detail and dive super deep on? Anybody else have some questions or something that they want to address?
I just wanted to say that I've worked extensively on my electronically pre-listing package, which I'm going to use a lot more right now instead of dropping off pre-listing packages. If you have everything done electronically, which includes testimonials, videos of drone videos of your listings, stuff of that nature, your marketing plan and your bio, I think it's going to be a very fortunate if I can get that looking professional and having that sent out to most people who want information about real estate and will then reach out and contact me.
Great, James. Great advice.
I'll throw one out there for you guys. Hey, how would you respond? I got a phone call from a member in the group who always talks about how good I am and stuff like that. I've sent him plenty of business. But I got a call last Friday from him that a unit in his building came available and that he wanted to buy it. I've already reached out to the listing agent and had them send me the contract. I just would like you to tell me how should I write the contract? At what price and what contingencies? And then he gets on the call this morning and he's talking about the fact that he's working with the lender and the title agent and the mover he's going to send the referral to, and the P&C agent's going to get his business. And I'm just sitting there thinking him and I are going to have a real strict heart-to-heart today. But when he calls, the attorney calls me and he says, how would you structure this contract? I did not give him that information because that is what sets us apart from everybody else. What would you do and how would you have that conversation with him? Anyone?
I mean, I can chime in. I think having a real heart-to-heart with him is important. I think you should also get out of your own way with creating conflict, and make sure that you're not offending other members within the group by feeling like you're left out. We've had this happen in the past where someone uses all the other members and then eliminates the lender or eliminates the realtor. And I don't think we can change the way that people perceive going directly to a listing agent, other than to educate them. And so maybe that's an education point for future, but I would also not try and force yourself in unless there's an opportunity for you to save it before the offer gets submitted.
That's not, I mean, he made that decision. He didn't want to do that. A lot of lawyers feel that they can handle all this stuff on their own.
Oh, it's a lawyer. You didn't tell us that.
Yeah.
The only thing that I can think of is that he might think that he got a better chance of getting the listing if he goes through the listing agent. I've seen that before a lot. And that's like what Brad said. You just have to educate them. They took the listing for 5%. They're going to take 5% if they split it or don't split it.
Right. I get all that.
Is this someone that sent you business in the past?
I'm sorry?
Is this someone that has sent you business in the past?
He's been in the group now for about a year and a half. He has not sent me business. He's always talking about the fact that he's working on something for me. He's working on something for me. Well, actually, I take that back. He did refer his girlfriend to me, who elected to go in another direction with a friend of hers, personal friend of hers instead. But I mean, I've sent him 4 or 5 referrals, including myself and my father, who he has done estate work for. And this was his chance under the giver's gain to return that. And he willingly elected not to do so. So
my feeling is don't expect it in return. Just don't expect it. Keep giving, no expectation in return. We've got a financial planner in our group whose mom has been in the real estate game for 35 years. I thought I would never see anything out of him. And I just continued to give. And he sent me 2 deals for over $1 million each last year. And my feeling is, you can educate, you can do everything you can, but at the end of the day, everyone has their own decision to make, and not every single member is going to use you. So educate moving forward, have the heart to heart and saying, I was hurt by it, and move on. Have a little 5-second funeral and keep going.
I concur, Brad. In our area in Lee County, Florida, which is Fort Myers, Cape Coral, the joke is when you get pulled over, they ask for your real estate license, not your driver's license. Everybody knows 15 realtors. I always give without the expectation of anything in return, because every single person in our chapter knows 10, 15 realtors. However, I have won over the business because I don't push, because I don't continually say, why haven't you given me business? I continually just show support, do giver's gain, and eventually they do come my way, even though they know other people in the group. You just have to be patient and take the ones that do refer you and do give your way.
Yeah.
So I agree with you.
Add something, Brad?
Sure.
Yeah. So it's kind of an indirect advice, but when they see you busy and successful with other clients, they want to do business with you. So I don't know why that works, but you know, when they see you're real productive, busy, other people retaining you, you know, it just changes it. I can't explain it in words, but it just does. I don't know if anyone has experienced that. Instead of chasing the ones that won't work with you, you know, help the ones that do, and they notice it. Believe me, they see it.
Why can't you say something as simple as, I wish you'd, boy, I'd love to help you, and I wish you would have contacted me earlier, but now that you've engaged with another, I don't know if it's a realtor or who he's engaging with, but once you've engaged with somebody else, I'm actually not allowed to provide client level services to you now. And I wish it's something you would have come to me with earlier. So as much as I'd love to help you, I'm actually not permitted to do that kind of thing for you. I mean, why couldn't you say something as simple as that?
That was pretty much the conversation I had, but in Maryland, technically I could because he was working with a listing agent, so he didn't have legal representation under Maryland rules. I could have, but I wasn't going to because I'm not going to step on the foot of another agent, even if he wants to make that mistake. My ethics won't allow me to do that. So I told him, I cannot advise you because you are working with another agent right now.
Yeah. What was his response?
He accepted it. You know, he just, you know, he had already engaged the listing agent on that property. I told him that he should reach out to the listing agent and see if they're willing to allow buyer's representation on this transaction. And he just wanted me to tell him how to put the structure of the deal, with what contingencies and at what price he should offer on the comps. And I'm not going to do that.
Did you say he's an attorney?
Yes.
Well, you should have said something like, you know what, I'm not sure I can be in a position to help you. Let me contact my attorney and see what he says. You know?
We have 4 attorneys in our BNI group.
Okay.
I recently had something very similar to that. Well, actually twice. Our chiropractor, who I had been trying to find a home for, bought something directly from a builder. And when I asked her about it, she said, well, if I had needed you, I would have called you. But he gave us a really good deal because we didn't have a realtor. And then she came back to me asking for advice about some things. And I just said, you know, I really appreciate, you know, you're needing the help. And I said, but you do know this is what I do for a living. It's not a hobby. And she's not in our group any longer.
Yeah, but Pat, didn't she say that if she needed you, she would have contacted you? Wasn't
She
that
said if
her?
I had really needed your help.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then
She
she's
didn't need it
seeing you.
then.
Exactly.
Until she needed it.
Yeah.
We can't save everyone.
Yeah.
From themselves. Yeah.
So what else BNI? What can we do that's proactively in BNI? And my intention here is to have hour-long meetings. So we're 9:58. So what else can we do proactively to support our BNI chapters? I'm going to take the conversation in a new direction.
Can I ask one? This is Trish. I just have one quick one. My group has been struggling. We're a small group. We're a solid group, but we're very small. And we had a great visitor day. I mean, we had 23 people invited to our visitor day. And they were engaged, they were excited. And of course, then we can't have online BNI's, you know, now we're online. But we only have 9 people in our group. And it seems like people are losing steam. How can, besides the visitor day, what can I do to kind of get my group? I feel like I'm taking on most of the burden. And of the 23 visitors, 19 came from me. What can I do to motivate my group to build and grow? And any advice, any thoughts?
You can't shoulder it all yourself.
I know.
The BNI that I started originally, we were up and down, up and down, up and down. And when you only have 3 or 4 people that are actively inviting, it's a kiss of death. So the best thing that happened was we closed that one down, and I got lucky enough to be invited into one that's closer to me and very active and very engaged. But the thing I've noticed is that however good your BNI is doing now, you can expect it to go up and down, up and down. And so you really need to get everybody engaged and keep them engaged. Because if you're doing, what'd you say, 19 of the 23 were you? What the hell, what do you need them for?
Sounds like a new chapter to me, not to endorse that, but
Yeah.
you're bringing 19 people and there's only 9 in your chapter.
Yeah.
You've got to bring in some key people that are interested in actually helping you grow something like that.
Yeah, I'm in talks right now.
Well, and I wonder how many of those 19 were converted to new members, or what did the group do to try to convert them or have them join?
Well, right after that is the visitors day was not last Tuesday, but the Tuesday before. So right after that, the whole BNI shutdown happened. And then the president decided, no, we're not going to have a meeting this Tuesday. So we didn't even do the visitor, we were supposed to have the second visitor day, the overflow last Tuesday, and they just decided to have nothing. So I said, okay. So now I don't know.
Well, as far as us supporting our group, when we get a referral, we're getting a lot bigger referral than the pool guy or the hairstylist. So I try to contribute a little more financially in ways that I can. So when we had our visitor day, I bought thank you cards, a bunch of them, like 30 of them. And I had all the members come 15 minutes early. I had a gazillion pens and I lined them up like an assembly line and had everybody as they walked in the room sign every card. And then I paid to have those mailed to every single visitor after, saying thank you for coming. No self-promotion at all, just thank you from our group. We're so glad you came. Please come again, kind of thing. But I think there's things we could do like that help the whole group. And maybe would convert more members, more of those visitors to members. And if they were your visitors, then they might think more along your lines as far as being more active participants, hopefully.
And email your roster out to all of your clients and saying, during this time while you're at home, here's some people that I recommend and use on a regular basis, and they would appreciate your business during this time. So something to consider. We have a really nice roster that has a little sheet on the back, and I often email that out to my clients. So that's a great way to promote the people in your chapter and you're doing business with, and then say, be sure to tell them I sent you. They'll give you the extra special treatment. So.
And Trish, how many of those people in your group called and reached out to those visitors that week after your meeting?
I believe the president did. I know I did, obviously. I'm not sure if anybody else did.
I mean, you're a small group. Everyone needs to be following up with these visitors, because unless you show them how much you care, and those other members care, they're not gonna feel it, and they're gonna step into another group and see what, then that group's gonna have 10 or 15 people be calling and following up. They're gonna feel the love there, and that's where they're gonna go.
Yeah.
So we may be in a shutdown, but I would highly request a simple email. Thank you for visiting our group, whatever, a phone call. Everyone's pretty much homebound throughout much of the country right now. You're gonna get these people on the phone. How can you support them? This would be a great chance for these new members to find out this is what BNI is about. This is the relationships you need to create in order to get those new business referrals generated, whether it's today, next week, or next month. We're all going to need that business. So it's a great opportunity for you to get those 20 people back in on a Zoom meeting next week.
Robert.
Yeah, so for our chapter, we have encouraged everybody, all of our members, to actually download Gary Keller's Shift, offered free on Amazon Audio, to help them through this time. We've sent out monthly cash flow planning to help them do personal budgets and business budgets, because a lot of the industries that are in our chapter are going to be hit very hard with this shutdown. And then from the commercial real estate standpoint, we're offering services to blend and extend for anybody in a commercial lease, to get both sides of the parties to the table to discuss what their terms are, to alleviate the rent burden on the tenants and on the landlords of not seeing that cash flow, lower that rent rate and extend it over a period of time. So when the economy does open back up and businesses don't go out, and then they have secure income. So those are three of the things we're doing in our chat.
Well, Robert, one thing I'll point out on the commercial end, most of the people I think in this room are residential, but some of the impact, we're deeply rooted in commercial real estate, multifamily, and there are some big ramifications coming
Yes,
in both spaces that landlords on commercial, industrial, retail are all going to be hit, and so are those tenants.
Yep, absolutely.
Dentists are shut down, et cetera. So that blend and extend concept, I think, is super solid. And your other two ideas are great. Cash flow planning, you know, what expenses can we cut? And also, you know, what can you learn from the real estate industry that we can share with you? I love that. Anybody else? All right, so success, yes? Everybody happy?
Absolutely.
Here, I'll unmute all and we'll cheer all at once for who's left.
Yay!
Yay!
I really
That was a
appreciate
really meager yay.
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Oh,
Yay!
So thank you everyone for coming on and being a part of this. Again, we have 2 resources for you. One is the BNI Facebook group. So if you haven't gone on and joined that yet, please go do so. The second is we'll do another one of these on Monday at 1 o'clock Pacific. And I probably will do a second one next week, later in the week. So I'll continue doing these. Reach out to other people in the chapter that want to do one-to-ones, chapter in the group that want to do one-to-ones and continue that referral business going amongst you. And if there's anything I can help you with that's BNI related, that's real estate related, I'd love to help in any way possible. All right. All right, well, we'll send you guys off. Thanks so much, and reach out to me if you have any questions.
Thanks, Brad. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you. Take care.